find this. I mean, this is crazy, but if it helps, I'll give you the ISBN. It is 978-178-125-1706. I'll read that out again because I see you guys are all writing it down, so that's cool. 978-178-125-1706. If that helps you find it. It was only £8.99, so it'll be like, $12. It's cheap as chips. That's a phrase we have in England that I guess you don't have here. So yeah, that's the book. So let's talk about how it works. I didn't think of a way to switch the corner, so I literally just did it in the pocket then. There is obviously a corner switch involved. I mean, we can do it with any other card now, it doesn't matter. So, let me just find the right one. So that's the missing corner there. That is my joker. So this is the setup that I did today. Take this principle though and put it to anything, or use this, it's cool. I took the joker and I stuck it in the book with it sticking out like that, and then I just flicked to the very next page and I took the 3 of spades, with a matching corner right there, the one that I ripped off, and I put it into the book with the corner bit down, and I put it lower than the page was, so it's like that. But it's on the very next page from the joker there, and I closed it over. The joker's in that position like that. It helps you find your gimmick for later. Then I put the matching corner in my pocket, and away we go. There is now a 3 of spades in here with a missing corner, so let's just find that. And do it again. Okay, so I classic force the card, which I'll talk about when we come to do some close-up, which is going to be like the next stuff after this is going to be all close-up stuff, so I'll talk about forcing then. But I classic force the card, and then I rip the corner off. There's no gimmicks, no things to help you rip the corner. It's actually pretty easy if you take a card to always rip it fairly the same every time. There's not a huge amount of difference there. It's really easy to just rip them. So off you go like that. So I ripped the corner off, and I then picked up the deck, and I asked him to take the deck and shuffle it. Whoops, and I held out the card. And then while he was shuffling, I literally just took the torn corner and I swapped it in my pocket. There is a much better way to do this. I just haven't had time to think about what it was, so I switched it in the corner. Then I asked him to put the card in and give them a shuffle, and then I handed him the corner. So that's now the corner that matches what's in the book. And now we're going to do a move that I got from a friend of mine called Matthew Dowden, which is going to be coming up in another trick later on, but it's basically a deck vanish. And I just had this idea that I would palm the card, which we'll also talk about in a bit too, and pretend that it was on the shoe. So I reach down and produce it like it's off the shoe. And because I haven't performed this before, what I'd probably say is one of the first places forensic experts look is for footprints. Like if you had a card with a footprint on, that would help you solve the crime. But this one doesn't have a missing corner, so that won't help. But in that whole thing, that's when I vanish the deck. So all that's happening from this side is I reach, grab the card, and as I grab the card, I just ditch the whole deck in the pocket like that and come out with an empty hand, but as if I'm still holding the deck. So I'll say, this doesn't have any footprints on, and it's a full card, so that won't help. And the other problem is now, we've lost the rest of the evidence. So the deck's vanished, so you get a little extra effect there. So just to do that again, I'm holding the whole deck in the regular grip, I've palmed the card, and as I turn to the side to produce the card from the foot, I'm also coming behind my own body and ditching the deck into the pocket and coming out like this, mentioning there is no footprint, and this is a full card, so that won't help. Let's try one more time. It looks like it's the deck. And we've now lost the rest of the evidence. This is a problem. Maybe if we look in the book, we'll find what we're looking for. And now the trick's over. We pick the book up, and as soon as you pick the book up to look into it, they'll notice that this is now the card. I'll talk about the switch in a second. You pull it out, and the trick's finished. As far as the switch goes, I told the actual story. I would recommend, to make it more interesting, write a slightly different story that's a bit longer or has some more detail in, and just pretend you're reading it out of this book. You don't have to tell the real story, but you can if you want. So flick to it, comment on the fact that, oh, a joker. If ever you go to a magician's house, I guarantee all their bookmarks will be jokers. Put it in flat, continue to read the story, and now pull the card back out, but don't flash it. Close it up, and down it goes. So you're done. And now when you pick it up, they immediately see the 3 of spades, and you guys saw it, you laughed, and you knew the card was there. And now the real nice surprise comes that this also has the torn corner, and they match it up, and I just like that line, just like John Tom's, it looks like I'm guilty. That's like a nice way to finish a trick. So there it is. That's the torn corner.
Yes. Nice. Now, Mark, because this is a new trick that you've just come up with, I love this. I think it's really fantastic.
Thanks.
I'm going to save you a little time and tell you something that you'll eventually get to.
Go on.
And that is the card that you produce from your foot
Yes.
must be the Joker.
Oh,
It
that's
simply
so
must be
brilliant.
the Joker, right? And to do that, just short corner a Joker, have it in the deck to begin with. You can cut it right to the top just before you do the palm, and you're all set to go. So that you'll
Yeah.
get your transposition, continuity, everything.
Yeah, because you don't even need to necessarily know where it is.
No.
You could say, well, the first thing we're doing is we're going to look at the evidence.
You could even just cut it, yeah.
And then you can bring it to the top, yeah, and that'll make it nice and easy. You can just look through, cut. Obviously, in this case, the card is going to be easy to find because there's a missing corner. Just push past it and say, but I can't seem to see it here. Let's check the foot. Oh, that's so good.
Yes.
That's why you're Dan Harmon. That's exactly why. It's got to be the Joker. So there you go. That is so. You have made my night. That is so great. So let's have a name for this. Any thoughts on a name? Well, we only have one miracle.
Yeah, no. Names take longer.
Yeah,
tricks are easy. Names are hard.
Let's just call it forensics.
Yeah, that would be the first suggestion. But I wanted to try to get something in about the murder. I'd probably call it shot to the head.
Shot to the head. There you go. It is officially called Shot to the Head. Yeah, so buy a book about forensics. This one looks great. There it is. Literally, I thought of that a week ago, and I couldn't leave it out because I knew it was good. Any questions about that then? Any other questions about anything?
Just the details on, that you're going to go over on classic forcing and.
Oh yeah, of course. No, I'll
yeah.
really get into the close-up stuff
Yeah,
when we do the close-up stuff.
Anybody else
for
have
sure.
a question?
Any other questions, guys?
No, I think we're good.
No? Okay, that's forensics then.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, cool. So we're going to get into the close-up stuff, I believe, now. Let me just check out the list, see if there's anything I've missed out. Oh, there is one thing I want to talk about, actually, which is really quick. This is really more to explain a point than the trick itself. So forget about this trick, but I'll just quickly do this to explain something. Where's the notepad? Okay, so I'm going to just write down a prediction. Okay, I've written down a quick prediction then, and I just came up with this to explain this point. So it was my nephew's birthday recently, he said. It wasn't really. I haven't got a nephew. But let's pretend I have for the sake of this trick. It was my nephew's birthday recently, and my sister, who doesn't exist, asked me to buy him a birthday present, which I wouldn't do because he isn't real. But she asked me to buy him a birthday present. The first thing I thought of was something I loved as a kid, and it's one of these. The Rubik's Cube. I mean, who knows how to solve this? Yeah, you know how to solve it. You drink protein shakes, you solve Rubik's Cubes. This kid's a genius. Anybody else know how to solve these? Yeah, a few people know how to do this. These have become really popular amongst magicians recently, but I love this. But apparently kids these days, they're not into it so much. So I asked him to write me a list. And like all kids, he didn't just write a list. He printed one out on the computer. And it's quite a long list. So my initial reaction was to give him a set of these and tell him to go and run around the house for a while. But failing that, I thought I would use them to cut down the list a little bit. Let's take a look at some of the things that he wanted, though. Oh, a magic set. He must want to be like me. Look at that, David, at the top. A magic set, right? That's pretty cool. And we got an action man. A friend of mine actually bought me one of those, and I pulled the back, and it said, going once, twice, 3 times. It was auction man. We got Buzz and Woody here. They sound like my wife's toys. We have... What else we got? We got a jigsaw. I actually bought a friend of mine's kid a jigsaw recently, and he cut one of his fingers off. We got a jigsaw, right? Barbie doll. Have you ever seen Divorce Barbie? It's like regular Barbie. It comes with Ken's house and car. Chemistry set. There are all sorts of things here, but we're going to use these scissors, and we're going to attempt to cut down this list. So I'm going to ask Mark, as I flick down the list, just say stop for me.
Stop.
Mark, you're kind of in between two things there. Would you like me to move up slightly or down slightly? Up slightly. I'm going to go up. And whatever is below where you've just cut, Mark, that's what we are going to choose. Mark, could you just take a look at the list and tell me what it is on that list that you have chosen?
Bicycle.
No, on the very top, whatever's at the top.
Toy car. Toy car.
A toy car, okay, cool. So, Mark has selected a toy car. We got a toy car, we could have had a microscope, we could have had a ukulele, that would have been cool. We could have had the magic set, the phone, but we've got a toy car. But what colour? What colour to buy a toy car? Tell you what, Mark, this is what we'll do. We'll use the Rubik's Cube. We're going to mix it up. I want you to say stop whenever you want, and whatever colour is on the top, that's the colour we'll go for. So for in this case, it would have been blue, whatever's in the middle square. I tell you what, Mark, I'll let you do this yourself. Catch that, my friend. Give it a good mix. We won't have blue because people will think it's a fix. But whenever you've stopped, take a look at the middle square that's on the top. Remember that colour and shout it out to me.
Red.
Red, okay. Throw me the Rubik's Cube back. Thank you. So we have a red, what was it again?
Toy car.
A red toy car, and my prediction is a red car. There it is. Okay, so it's not necessarily the greatest trick in the world, but what I want to talk about is appropriate forcing. Those two forces there are perfect for that trick because they're relevant to the things we're forcing. I'm not a huge fan of when you want to force something and you get out a deck of cards with that written on, because it feels like it's very route one. It's like the obvious thing to do. And when this first was out, was this like a newspaper? It was a newspaper headline.
That's right, yeah.
It's quite common, yeah. People used to use this for forcing a newspaper headline. Well, you can force anything with it. It's like it's a cool, easy thing to do. And basically, this is the list. So there are any toys. Again, this is a great way to tie together random jokes. So I just thought of some jokes then from things that are on this list. They're not original, or they're just jokes that came into my head as I was reading, because I literally just did this the other day to talk about this point. But this is a good way to link things together. You'll notice that a magic set is underneath toy car. So it's not at the top, it's second from the top. But when I asked David to confirm, I didn't say, look at that at the very top with nothing else above it. I just said, oh, cool, look at that at the top, a magic set. And he goes, yeah. So you get the impression that it's at the top. It's not really, and that'll be used as a little convincer later, which I'll come back to. So really at the top is the toy car. Then you've got the joke. I thought you could run around the house with scissors. Because this is a toy list, kids write lists all the time. Kids love computers too, so there's perfectly good reason why it would be printed out. I should also say that if you're going to do this trick, the method involves turning the piece of paper over, and so you want the words to be center aligned. If we can get a look at that, you'll notice that they're all center aligned, so there's no left or right margin to the list. Because if there was a left or right margin, you can see through that, which you can vaguely there. When it flips over, the audience could potentially see that all of the words were lined up on this side when they should be on that side, and that would be problematic. So they're center aligned. So this list force is perfect for the kind of stuff you would write in a list. Some shopping or a toy or anything like that. It is not perfect for other things like, say, celebrities or whatever. There are other better ways to do that. They say stop whenever they would like. You cut the list, and what really happens is this. The thing that you want to force is at the top there, but it's really now at the bottom, a toy car. So when that falls onto the floor, which I'm going to stop it from doing, I hand it out to them, and they read the thing that's at the top, which is what was just at the bottom, but it was at the top, if you know what I mean. They say it's a toy car. Once they've said it's a toy car, I go, and you could have had anything. I mean, here we've got a magic set, which is really at the top of that one, but I'm miscalling as the convincer. So that's a force. It's a really easy force. You can force loads of things with it. Is it the greatest trick in the world? Who knows? But it's appropriate, and that's the thing that I wanted to talk about. Again, the Rubik's Cube. This is a cool way to force a colour. We used to sell, when I used to work in JB Magic for Mark Mason, and we used to sell Daryl's Enchanted Cube, which involves a gimmick Rubik's Cube. And that was the first time I'd ever seen the idea of the stickers not being in the place that they originally started off. And that got me thinking about some things. Since I've shown this to a couple of people, this Rubik's Cube's force, they've told me that someone else has a similar idea. And I believe it's Patrick Cuffs. Is anyone familiar with this?
Well, we know Patrick, but I haven't seen this from
It
him.
might be Patrick Redford. It's someone called Patrick.
Yeah.
They have this. Someone only mentioned it to me in passing, but I just thought of this because of Daryl's Enchanted Cube. But the idea is this. One side, the blue square, is the middle, and on all of the other sides, the middle square is red. And this involves no skill of doing the Rubik's Cube, but it does involve some skill in peeling off stickers and putting them back on in a different place. So you mix up the Rubik's Cube like crazy, and then you take off all the red stickers, and you take off all the middles, and you just realign them so they're in different places. Because if you know anything about a Rubik's Cube, which is why I asked who knows how to solve this, and David put his hand up, I would not ask David to do this, because as soon as he held it, he would know that it was not right. Because people who solve Rubik's Cubes, they focus on the middle. And don't worry about finding someone in the audience who can solve it and didn't tell you. That person doesn't exist. Okay? anybody who can solve a Rubik's Cube, when you ask them, they want to tell you. It's cool. So, yeah, that's swap the stickers around. So that's how it works. But it's cool that the middle can never not be a middle. Like that side piece there, no matter how much I twist it and move it around, if you follow it, it always remains a side piece. It can't be a different shape than what it is. It always stays on a corner. It's the same with all the middles. So you just peel the stickers off and swap them round, and that will be perfect for forcing a colour. And on this one I used red. If you're going to make this up, I suggest you buy two, because I guarantee you will mess up one of the stickers when you peel it off. It's quite tough to get them off. You need a small like craft knife to peel under them slowly and then stick them back down with some 3M like permanent glue. But then you'll make that up and it's cool. And again, it's appropriate because it both matches the story and it's the perfect thing to force a colour when it's already been introduced in the trick. Like, I wouldn't bring this out after I'd said and then use it, but because I already said I was going to buy them this, but kids don't like these, it's on the table already, so it perfectly fits. So if you're going to force things, it's just nice to find an appropriate way to do it. You know, if you're going to force some gym equipment, you could get a catalogue of that stuff, or if you're going to force whatever, find the thing that fits that. You know, don't just write it on a deck of cards and go route one. There's always a better thing out there. So that's that. Just some thoughts on that, not really the trick itself. Use the trick. If you are going to do the trick, by the way, use like a forcing pad to get people to write down how much they would spend. And you know, the one where you get the 3 and you pull the thing and it pulls the sheet up. Because you could say, okay, so we're getting a toy car, it's going to be red. How much am I going to spend? I know. People get a bit squeamish about how much money they're going to spend. Would you write down how much money you would spend? Would you write down how much you would spend? And you write down how much money you would spend? I really love this kid. Would you add them up? I'm going to spend what all 3 of you would spend. And you've forced an amount of money. And then that way you can have like a gift box and lift it up. And it's on the back, you can see that it's a toy car, and then you can spin it round to the front and they can see it's a red toy car, and then you can say the price is on the bottom and lift it up, and then in huge numbers on the bottom is the price, and then you get a 3-phase prediction. That's how to make that into a decent trick. But really I just wanted to talk about forcing and making it appropriate. Any questions on that from anyone?
No, awesome, and awesome
Cool.
advice.
Thanks,
Yeah, great.
Okay, so I think we are about to get into some close-up. Oh, there is one more point that I've written down for the stage stuff.
Just as a note, somebody did write in, it apparently is Patrick Cuff's
Okay.
tossed out cube using a similar concept.
Oh, cool, there you go. Have they written what DVD or anything it's on? I'd like
Well,
to know.
apparently he did talk about it in the Penguin lecture, but I don't remember. I think it must be a little bit different.
Oh, that's crazy
Yeah.
then. Oh, it's been...
I was here, and I don't recall it being exactly like that.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, well, that's good then. Maybe it isn't the same thing. Someone told me at a lecture when I'd mentioned the cube